boys, go for a walk. Yeah.
Essentially, we had had a busy summer, and I'd had two little boys, 4 and 2, I believe, at the time. And I thought I was just worn out and tired. And I remember saying to them, "Oh, Mom's got to take a break. I got to lay down for a second." So I laid down and I was like, I'm just not okay. I'm going to call the doctor.
We walked around the house like nothing was wrong when really there was all kinds of things wrong. We had just lost a special member of my family to cancer, and I had 2 kids, and we set them down at the table, and my son was a junior and she was just turning 16, and told him that I had cancer.
I've always wanted to be a mom. With some very emotional things happening in our first pregnancy resulted into our first miscarriage. Then I knew we wanted to try again. Shortly after I started trying, we got pregnant again. So excited. And then I started having miscarriage signs. So once again, same outcome on a 3rd miscarriage, and I was just like devastated and ready to give up at this point. I really just kind of felt ashamed in those first few moments of where I felt like, wow, I really need to get some help for my postpartum journey. I kind of had a light bulb moment one day when I just wanted to run away.
The first trimester that I was pregnant, I thought I had morning sickness, but it was definitely anxiety attacks and not morning sickness. My family has a pretty terrible track record with babies. My mom was pregnant 8 times, and I'm the only one that made it full term. I think I made it through the first trimester and finally broke down in Dr. Dodson's office, and I was like, I'm gonna need to do something.
Women's health really does start from adolescence all the way up to postmenopause and as we become elderly. Access to care in Missouri has become an increasingly difficult issue.
Reimbursement challenges, supply challenges, cost challenges that have forced organizations to consider what services they're offering. And as a result, we've seen 8 to 10 hospitals either close entirely or close their maternity services in probably the last 5 or 6 years.
As caregivers, we hear firsthand about the difficulties. If there's not direct access to that care and it's easily accessible, meaning that they don't have to travel 30 to 45 miles to get to the nearest obstetrics and gynecology area, they're likely to not get that care if they don't have direct access to it.
400,000 babies a year are born to mothers who are depressed. So that means that postpartum depression is the most underdiagnosed OB-related complication after birth.
A lot of times when women come in, they are very apprehensive. Nobody wants to do this. I explain to them what we're going to do. I ask them history questions so that they get a complete and comprehensive exam.
So I went in, had my mammogram, and Teresa called me the next day and said she needed some more film, asked me if I would come in, and I wasn't too excited about going back in and wasn't too concerned about it, but she was really adamant that I needed to get in there and get it done.
When we took the pictures and she was recommended for a biopsy,
it came back that it was cancer.
She wanted to go to Kansas City. The care team down there told her they were very impressed that we caught this as early as we did, because they don't think they would have caught it had she been going to Kansas City for her screening.
I will forever be grateful for Teresa and the crew here at Mosaic for finding it and saving my life.
When I finally got to that point of, I can't live like this anymore, my kids deserve a better mom, I decided to reach out.
So I messaged Dodson. She got me in the very next day. Got me just kind of started on medication, let Maddie know what was going on. And so then when I went to see Maddie, we started working through all of that.
Postpartum depression is a very severe aspect of that, where women truly have trouble taking care of themselves and their baby. It's nice to have mental health resources here so that when we have somebody who has a significant issue, we have lots of help available for them in addition to just starting a medication.
Dotson and the whole team of nurses were amazing. Like, I felt like I wasn't like just another number. I felt like I was there. They knew exactly what I was going through, and I wasn't alone.
I think my approach to being an OBGYN is just to really try to understand what the patient is needing and wanting. It's a pleasure taking care of women and families. Sometimes I feel like I become a part of the family by the time the patient delivers.
She referred us on to a specialist, and I was like, if I get pregnant and everything goes good, can I come back? And she was like, absolutely, I would love to deliver your baby.
You are our priority. And so making sure that we are not just saying that with our tongues, but we're actually delivering on that.
He released us at like 13, 14 weeks. And so I was like calling, and I was like, I get to make an appointment with Dr. Dotson. I was so excited. And I like walked in the doors, and everyone was like so happy. It was just like we were at home. It was like we walked into our own family. It was like awesome.
Not every pregnancy, not every conception is ending in a happy, healthy baby leaving a hospital with mom and dad. Sometimes it's a miscarriage or a NICU stay, just outcomes that we don't ever think about happening. And I want to provide support for moms who are struggling with those things as well, because they're not talked about as much.
She's really accessible. If I ever need her, I can text her, call her, just say, hey, here's what's going on. And, it's one of those things that she just really advocates for me in figuring out, like, what meds do we think needs adjusted? What do we think we need to do? And just like that relationship has probably been one of the greatest things postpartum. I tell absolutely everyone that I am a better person postpartum than I was even like before I was pregnant, because of all the work that Maddie and I have done. So I'm just so thankful that I've been able to just do it here rather than having to go virtual or go see someone or go far away.
One of the biggest challenges we face is maternal death rates. In the state of Missouri alone in 2020, 85 women passed away either while they were expecting or within 1 year after delivery. A vast majority of those were due to preventable circumstances. So we have a real opportunity to actively engage those patients to ensure better outcomes than what we're currently seeing.
My liver enzyme numbers were kind of off the charts, and they were trying to figure out what it was, and they did a lot of different tests, and we found out that it was the autoimmune hepatitis. And about that time, work was starting back up, and so I had to even take some time off of work, and then by the end of that school year, I knew that I was just struggling a lot.
So many women nowadays are trying to balance family, work, husband, church life, social life. It's a lot to put on anybody's plate.
4 weeks before I had Grace, I was really pregnant, and I got a call from my dad, and I was like, my dad never calls me. So I answered the phone, and I remember walking out to the hallway. He said, your mom passed away. And my brain couldn't accept that. And I said, Grandpa died. I'm so sad, or so sorry, Grandpa passed away. And he said, Michelle, your mom passed away. They said it was just, we had to do all the tests because she was healthy, and no one understood why. And they said she just had an arrhythmia. Her heart just had skipped a beat and then stopped. So hard for me never to have my mom hold her and meet her, and she would have just loved her.
I try and talk to women when they come in about carving out some time for themselves to make them happy and healthy. You can't really take care of everybody else unless you are doing well.
To any other moms who may be feeling these intrusive thoughts, I want you to know it's okay, but it's not normal, and you need to feel like yourself again. So recognizing those triggers and opening up to a loved one and getting that guidance and support to talk to a professional about it would make a huge difference.
We recognize that we have some significant challenges ahead of us. That doesn't deter us from our commitment to continuing to offer these services for generations to come. And it's events like the Gala and other events that we'll have throughout the year that bring not only a focus to it, but help us create the dollars and necessary operational resources to be able to provide these services.
When you look at northern Missouri and you look around us and you think, where else are they going to go? Maryville does a really great job of putting the patient first. We have to be willing to advance our maternal health area.